Looking good, feeling good. Oh, welcome, everybody. Let's see what our ad of the night is. I'm always excited to see who's sponsoring us. We're gonna get it here. No, no ads tonight.
Nope.
I think we're locked and loaded on the screen. All right, hey, listen. I guess we're not sponsored this evening. That's okay. We're taking the low road. Good evening, J Dubs, Top Heavy, Greg Martin, manner of speaking. Everyone joining us this evening. Ugh. I'll drink to that. Happy Victory Tuesday, y'all. On behalf of First Amendment Sports, I'm Ken Marangolo. He's Kevin Ricca.
Hey, I'd also like to drink and share this one to the city of brotherly love. I appreciate our northern neighbors showing us they were gracious hosts. They were very warm and fuzzy on a Monday night, and they were very pH-ucking quiet. It was so quiet.
It was awesome.
I loved it. Just the idea that they were quiet the whole time was making me feel sick at the end of the game because I didn't want to hear the outburst that they were saving. They saved it. It's been saved.
It's been saved. There was a decent showing. There was at least on camera. There was some Commanders fans in the stands getting it done. So I always appreciate the bravery of entering into enemy territory. Let's get right into it. Washington Commanders are 5-5. Currently sit 8th in the NFC, one spot behind the San Francisco 49ers, who are one game up on us at 6-4. I'm sorry, they're 5-4. We're a half a game behind them. We still have our bye. They've already had their bye.
But we play them. So
we play them. We play the Giants twice. We play
true.
the Cowboys. There's 4 games above us. We also have the Atlanta Falcons, who are a couple slots below us, and the Cleveland Browns and the Houston Texans.
Mostly the Texans.
Mostly the Texans.
Go 1-0.
At 5-5, the Washington Commanders have every reason to be thankful heading into this Thanksgiving season. I noticed, Kevin, this was a night you were off. It was the record show, so I just keep this here. It's stained with this is like it's got whiskey and high noons. It's been soaked through like 3 or 4 times.
The color of high noon and whiskey.
It's seen better days.
All right, it's coffee.
That's good. That's fine enough. I had us both T and I had us at 7-3, so we're 2 games ahead of that. And we
what
both
was T drinking that night.
He had us at 12-5. I had us at
What the fuck?
I was just saying. You're right. You're right.
I love it.
We both had that game as a win. Best team in the league heading into Monday night, the Philadelphia Eagles, for every reason that they deserve to be called that. They not only were they undefeated, but they've been the class of the league for a variety of reasons. Now, I'm sure we'll talk more about this, Kevin. Their Achilles heel is one that doesn't get shown too often by an 8-0 team. You find yourself ahead in most games, you're not going to have to get run on all night long. And the Philadelphia Eagles' weakness is their run defense. And we got in it right away and stayed on it the entire time. So let's start there. The time of possession and the run game for the Washington offense. I mean, Scott Turner committed early. We went down 7-0 early, and it was right away, run. The Antonio Gibson, Brian Robinson show.
But it was the most beautiful version of run because it was 3 to 4 yards in a cloud of dust. It was first, second, and third down. It was the blueprint was perfection, and the way it was executed was even greater. The idea of gaining those extra downs to maintain possession, to keep that dude over there who's an MVP candidate running and throwing the ball all over the damn place, and A.J. Brown, and keep them on the sidelines, and it was beautiful. How it unfolded. It was almost tormenting to watch. It was too beautiful of a game plan not to work. So I'm sure everyone on the board agrees with me here. Watching the sands of the hourglass drip in Philadelphia while the game is live, you're starting to watch the clock, and as a fan, you can't help it. I was trying to maintain my focus on what was going on in the field because I was just loving the way we were playing football. But at some point, you start watching that damn thing, and God dang it, man, how it worked out. I'm still jacked up. Ron Rivera's greatest victory of his tenure, correct? I mean, I know the Pittsburgh deal was a big deal back then, but this is Philadelphia on Monday night, and we have some Philadelphia Monday night history.
We have scars.
Mike Vick to Deshaun Jackson. I'm stuck in the Beltway. Wound up going to Joe Murphy's house. It was a whole. That was one of the more embarrassing moments. I believe they put 59 on us. Was that the number?
I mean, it might as well have been 100.
It felt like everyone in Philadelphia was punching us, and it hurt. And in the beginning of this game, gave us a little slight dose that might be what's to come. But you know what? It just was not. And what a great night for the franchise. That was a humongous night in a better place with a guy who's now cemented himself as our leader, receiving for 128 yards. I mean,
yes,
this guy's just a special human being. And
8
I'm
catches,
so proud of him
128
in
yards.
The burgundy and gold.
Well, we're going to dance around. We don't. There's no particular order. You say Terry McLaurin. I'll go straight there. The one thing that stood out to me about this game, and is that Terry McLaurin and Taylor Heineke were in sync. The big plays, the routes, the ball was delivered in a place. I mean, this wasn't Terry having to reach backwards after going full speed,
Nope.
right to left. This wasn't. I mean, he did jump up a couple times. The ball sailed on a 6-foot quarterback here and there, but for the most part, the patterns that they were running Terry on, where he was getting open, the ball was where it was supposed to be, and I mean, this smile on Terry's face says it all. I don't want to overblow, what happened last year and what's happened in the past. It's just a fact that they weren't completely in sync when it came out. And he's a number one wide receiver in this league, and he deserves to have the ball the way he got last night. And Taylor Heineke is putting it there now. And that is a huge development for this offense because, well, if you got to be able to get the ball to your best guy, and you got to be able to give it to him when he can get yards after the catch. Terry McLaurin is a yards after the catch guy. He's not a possession receiver. He's an everything receiver.
Can be exactly.
He's everything.
He can do whatever the hell you want.
But if you get him, if you give it to him in a place where he can run, he's going to run, and he creates contact. He's physical, and he doesn't go down easily.
He leads the NFL in toughest percentage catches. He makes the toughest percentage catch, and every single time that ball goes up, like Darius Slay's on that dude. He's holding him. He's mugging him. The ball's to the outside. Heineke put that ball direct on the fade I'm talking about on the right side, from right to left on the screen, and Slay goes and does it, and he still comes down with it. And by the way, how many more badass D-backs does he got to skewer? Who's up next? I mean, it's just what it is, and it's nasty. Derek Stingley Jr., you better be watching tape, not us, right now.
Right now.
Because this dude is no joke. And he doesn't come out and start talking it. He doesn't. He doesn't come out and start it. He's been finishing it, though, and that's been badass because not just that, his post-game presser with Scott Van Pelt was so special.
It was.
And then,
it was awesome.
But not as special as in the locker room. When Ron walks off, after he says his mother would be proud, you see Heineke looking, watching Ron. Everyone's kind of looking to see. That was one of those moments that it was almost like Gene Hackman and my team's on the floor. He wanted to see how it was going to unfold, what would transpire. And instantly, Terry McLaurin jumped in as the leader of this franchise.
Yes.
And had words to say about Ron. If it means this much to him, and we effing took it to him, and he starts going nuts. And I'm listening with my wife and son on the way in. There wasn't a dry eye in the car.
No.
I'm like, this is why we love the Redskins. This is what I felt driving into the car with my dad on a Tuesday after a W.
Yep.
Even better because Monday has not. 7-23 lifetime under Daniel Snyder was the worst record in the NFL during Snyder's tenure. This made it even sweeter now that we know that Snyder is on his way out. All of it was so beautiful. It was poetic justice, Philadelphia style, and I was thrilled the whole entire game. And today, just to have that feeling all day long and know, like, damn, we really did. We beat those dudes.
It was domination. I've already, I peek in, you hear the talk from Philadelphia fans, and I think for anyone who's worth their salt, knows anything about football, knows exactly what went down last night. Both teams had 10 drives, okay? We had 330 total yards, 81 more plays.
Just right here, I know you're looking at the same thing.
Yep.
These are the stats, I believe, that we always talk about for what you need
always
for a win.
Talk about it. 40 minutes and 24 seconds.
That's a joke.
2-1 on the time of possession.
That's a joke. And it was 4-1 at one point.
Yeah.
It was a joke. Our 3.2 yards in a cloud of dust, and then all of a sudden, hey, Terry McLaurin 11 targets. Curtis Samuel was second on the team with 4. I'm not saying I only want Curtis to have 4. I'm saying I want Terry to have 7 more than the second guy.
12 for 21, which is over 50% on third downs. I like to break down the
12 to 5 third down conversions.
That's
12
right.
to
That's
7,
right. 12
whatever.
out of 21 versus
12
their
to
5 of 8.
So they converted 5 times on third down. We converted 12.
That's right. That's right.
So there's one W.
The
Boom.
the
Time of possession. Boom.
the passing first downs. So we get 12 rushing first downs, but we get 9 passing first downs. And that's a huge stat to me, only because we're still playing with our backup quarterback, who's may or may not remain our backup quarterback. We'll talk about that more as we get through the show. But 9 passing first downs means that our quarterback moved the chains. You know, yes, we ran the ball
25 times.
We ran the ball up and down their back. But Taylor Heineke was a big part of the way that the ball moved. And 1 for 1 on fourth down.
7 different dudes made first down.
That's awesome. That's
7
awesome.
different guys, whether it would be in the run game or pass game. Terry McLaurin and B. Rob 5 each. Curtis Samuel with 3. Heineke running for 2 along with AG. That's how you spread it.
Yep.
I mean, and Ken, the one thing we always talk about is the turnovers. Yes, we won the battle. We had 2, they had 4. The penalties, we won the battle. We had 5 for 58. They had 7 for 75. So a lot of people like to talk about the turnovers, the time of possession, and the penalties. Then you throw in rush yards. Well, we outgained them by 58. And total yards, we outgained them by 66. Like, there is not one thing that Philadelphia did to beat us. So cry all your pissy tears all over Twitter's face. That's all you want. Let Elon wipe them up. You guys had no chance to beat us last night. It wasn't your night. We took it to you. And it doesn't matter who the more talented or better team was. It doesn't. Last night, it was the guys in burgundy and gold.
Help us out. It's your weekly reminder / plea to hit the subscribe button. Be a subscriber to First Amendment Sports. We appreciate it. And if during the course of the show you hear something you like, don't be bashful. Hit that thumbs up button. It's like a validation. We appreciate that. We're very fragile people, him more so than me. But the
I'll drink my way through it.
Yeah, we're gonna get through this. I like to talk about Antonio Gibson and Brian Robinson because this is the way our offense was designed to run out of training camp. Before the tragedy to Brian Robinson that cost him time and development, and let's be honest, he's still not 100%. But this is the way our offense was supposed to operate. Both of these guys getting crazy touches in a variety of ways, with Brian Robinson being a workhorse on the ground, and Antonio Gibson, getting his touches a variety of ways. I was super concerned because he had that foot injury a year and a half ago, and he got tackled that kind of locked his foot in. I thought that was it. When he came back out in the second half, I was thinking, that was what saved the game. Him being available for the second half saved the game because we carried the ball how many times? 47, 48 times?
49.
49 times. Brian Robinson, I love him to death, but he ain't carrying the ball 49 times. This ain't 1950. So,
dude, he carried it 26 times.
I know.
At one point in the first half, I was like, they're going to have to get somebody else in here. I mean, let's get our boy, let's get anybody, but what a stud, man.
And Samuel, for that matter.
I mean, hell yeah. I think Samuel had 3 or 4 carries, but I know that your boy Antonio Gibson, my boy Antonio Gibson, and this is how it's supposed to work. Now, Brian Robinson does seem to have a better feel. Not just in between the tackles, but he's a more natural runner.
Yep.
North-south. And Gibson has all this explosion. He's trying to figure out how to harness it. But I know one thing. He plays hard as shit, man. He gets after it. And 17 touches, I see, for about 60 yards and a touchdown. How he elevated and understood. Just got to break the plane down there. He saw he could get over that dude. I really love what he's doing and how how many times can you just motion a guy that's 235 pounds who you can run in between the tackles on 3rd and 1 out wide and win that matchup as well? It doesn't really exist. It's great on paper, and now it's starting to look great on television on Sundays and Mondays.
The thing about Antonio Gibson, everyone says, oh, he was a receiver at Memphis, and we converted him to running back, and it's hard to judge professional athletes sometimes in their size because they're standing next to a bunch of other professional athletes, and you lose the perspective of this guy's a giant dude with a lot of power. When he hit the hole, I think what I hear you're saying, and what I mean, Brian Robinson has the more traditional running back vision. when he's attacking the line of scrimmage. Whereas Antonio Gibson,
It's more natural to him.
yes, and Antonio Gibson is more likely to just jam it up there. But when he
Well,
does,
he's a guy in space, so he's all
Yes.
bottled up, ready to explode.
He just goes in there.
and the patience has to be learned and understood. And he's come a long
yeah.
way.
But he
really
moves
has.
it when
But
when he hits the hole. If there's someone there, they're moving.
Yeah.
Like the one
true.
play with Charles Leno, our left tackle. He's Gibson basically wham blocked him out of his for his own running lane. And the other thing that if you were watching the game, last night, which I know everyone was, we were like one block away on some plays,
know.
some of these running plays from it really cutting loose. And
they got a lot
Amani
of good
Rogers.
football players over there, and that's true.
Yeah.
And that's how you go 8-0 in this league and
That's right.
dominate. But you're right. There was a lot of plays that I was like,
One more helmet on one more helmet.
And I know Brian Robinson is not a speedster. He's fast enough. Don't get me wrong. He's not slow. He's just not a blazer. And, there's a couple times there I thought, man, he might go. Because he gets himself into the right position, and he runs so hard. He runs through arm tackles. He gets through the wake. He makes his way through the BS most of the time. So when you see him go down, someone's making a play. Because that forward lean, that's a big, strong dude, man.
It is. If you
he showed. We
On the-
took it
around
to
the
them,
waist.
like Terry McLaurin said last
Yep.
night. We physically we weren't getting we weren't moving them off the ball and embarrassing them, but we just keep pounding it and sticking to it and pounding it and sticking to it. There's only a few times that I screamed at Scott Turner last night. One was the third down tight end screen.
Sure.
After the running back screen didn't work to the same side previously.
Yep.
I'm like, what are you gonna fool me once? Like, come on, man. Like that's outsmarting yourself. There's some boneheaded, but
Maybe
run the
one
ball
that's fade.
49 times and maintain that time of possession. At the end of the day, that's nitpicking last night on Scott Turner. We got to give him his propers. That was a great game plan offensively to allow that other team offense not to be on the field. It was just a beautiful thing to witness.
And a great accepting of the penalty at the end of the game on the punt. They mentioned it on the air, and I think Troy or Joe mentioned it. But so it's a 5-yard penalty on Philadelphia, making them punt again. Eliminated the 2-minute warning from
that was beautiful.
It was,
And we still had to have one extra play out there.
still needed an extra play.
Just never
'Cause
easy.
I hate it when I especially don't want my team doing it, and I don't like seeing it when a quarterback in victory formation snaps the ball and stands there to try to get 1 or 2 extra seconds.
Oh.
It's a recipe for disaster.
Especially after watching, the Buffalo Bills Minnesota Vikings game. I'm not saying he was standing there, but like, come on, just that one play. You're like, come on, not this. But in poetic justice, Philadelphia style, there's so many things that happen. We'll get to a couple more. But Casey Toohill doing the worst gritty in Philadelphia history at their place on the final play of the game. If someone would have told me, hey, on Monday Night Football, Casey Toohill will have the final play of the game on a pass, lateral from Devontae Smith. And he hung onto that thing until he was horizontal, didn't he?
It was. I thought that they could have reviewed it almost, and I was watching it. I was like, oh my gosh, he got rid of
bounds.
It.
His 2 feet were still in bounds.
He was totally put parallel to the ground.
I mean, I know Toohill probably played little league baseball growing up, but he's never scooped something so easily into a dance in front of South Philadelphia. And I was just thinking, what a great way to end that football game. Give them that final bit of hope. They've been quiet the whole damn time. Make them think, oh my gosh, oh Philly, it's going to be a miracle. Nope, it's going to be Toohill doing the gritty. Horribly up in.
But it wasn't the worst gritty of the year.
No,
there was some worse ones this year.
No, there has been. There has been.
Yeah.
Mac Jones has the worst gritty of all time.
It's pretty bad.
Now I did see you grittying at the Knights of Columbus last Saturday evening, and it was pretty good.
I got it. I still got it. When I come up for these guys, it's over.
It's true. You were sweating something fierce though.
So we like the play calling for the most part. I like the play calling on the defensive side. I thought that it was more of the same of what we've been seeing over the last, call it 5 weeks. Really, this 4-1 stretch. When they changed some personnel. The addition by subtraction of William Jackson, which no ill will whatsoever. But when he stopped playing, something happened.
Sorry, Miss Jackson. Could have stuck around for this one.
This one's for real.
Played a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's uncanny.
Come on, man.
Forrest is playing his balls off.
Wow.
It's unbelievable how well he's playing. And
Wow.
St. Juice, even though he gave up that
Balls
touchdown,
off. He's balls on. He's always got it.
He's always
He plays
got it.
defense, and he's always got the skin right in his hand.
The
He's
tracking
always
of the
near it.
interception
Dude.
was next level. That was
The picking up of the fumble.
that was like Willie Mays style.
That was so cool how that ball. You don't give up on a play. From the first time I saw it, I was like, he didn't catch that. I knew something weird happened. The ball dropped too fast, and his arm it went right through. And paused for a second, and then he just absorbed it. I think.
Yep.
But whatever it is, he's one of those guys that like a Cam Curl, a ball hawk.
Yep.
Who comes up with it? You know what? That's what you want your safeties to be. And we got a couple of them, man. And McCain's no joke out there. When you're talking about this defense, Ken, I couldn't stop thinking about the top 4 tacklers.
Oh wait, the top 4 tacklers on our defense.
Yep.
Can I go?
In this game.
Okay, so top 4 is Jonathan Allen up there.
Now, Payne and Allen were not, but they were paid special attention to because if they were not, they were winning their
All right,
matchups
so
one-on-one.
Forrest.
Absolutely. He was third. He had an interception, a pass defensed, fumble recovery, 6 tackles, putting him third.
How about Jamin?
Number 1, all over the field, wasn't he?
He was everywhere.
He was running around making plays. He was he was in the mix.
The most egregious face mask I almost have ever seen.
And
I
I loved
seeing it in
The
slow motion.
Philly mouthwash. He gave it to him. The Philly mouthwash, and they're so sad. Yo, you didn't call that? Yeah, no.
I mean,
no, they didn't.
The
I didn't see
replay,
it.
because they were doing the replay and they kept doing the replay over and over, and every time the replay, I was like, oh my dear God,
The smash and grab.
that was so egregious.
You grab the face mask, I'll smash the ball. And John Ridgway, what a hell of a play there, and it's unreal. I love the smash and grab. I love that Jamin Davis was.
Yeah.
He was like, you know what? If I do the grab and you do the smash, do I get the booty? And that's what happened.
the booty.
Yeah, and it was a booty call. So he comes up with it. It was a big time play, and I love the fact that all of Philadelphia thought, because they just don't get it sometimes, that face mask, they were cheering.
Yep.
Like, ha, ha, ha. I thought that meant that it wasn't a fumble. But then I realized that they're not that intelligent. They're just that miserable.
Yeah.
And I told my son, I go, well, if this is about the face mask, no, you can't I mean,
No.
maybe someday. I'm
can't
sure.
triple save
I'm
a double
sure
save.
soon.
You cannot
I'm sure
triple-
soon you'll be able to go back and do that.
Yep.
It just seems to be the pace of it, but the pulse of it. But dude, how sick was that?
St. Juice tackled his ass off,
He was great.
and he missed one tackle.
And he was the second leading tackler with 7.
okay. I
And
mean,
Cam Curl with 5.
Cam Crow was the other safety. Yeah, I mean, St. Juice. The reason why I love him, he gave up a play, but he had a complete game. A complete game. Guess what? Cornerbacks in this league, they're going to give up. They're going to give up.
Cornerbacks
plays.
are gonna get beat. And St. Juice is a competitor, and he's always gonna be there, and he's gonna win some and lose some. But
He's a
I tell
tackler.
you, he competes, and he's as physical and big as shit.
Yeah,
He's a dude. Ken, I'm
he's
circling.
turning into almost a. I mean, he might be our best cornerback right now. Almost. I mean, he's right there. I mean, Kendall Fuller, right?
He's a stud.
I think he is too.
Well, there's a reason why he's following some of these guys. He's athletically, physically, and mentally that dude. I believe we've got a gem here. But look at this. Chase is coming back. We know that. We think it'll be this week. Obviously, Payne and Allen have been ripping it apart, and we saw Montez had the only sack of the game on a ridiculous play for the good guys. But draft capital, our leading 4 tacklers, Jamin Davis, St. Juice, Forrest, and Curl. These are all drafted guys brought in here to play a system. And all of a sudden, things are starting to click, and we know we're late starters, and it's annoying, but all of a sudden, we're up in Philadelphia. These are our leading 4 tacklers. Now, Payne and Allen and Sweat are setting the tone out there, and now all of a sudden, we've got guys at 3 different levels that we trust, that are playmakers.
Yep.
And speed everywhere.
Yep.
I'm not saying we're playing like lights out. We're still not a top 10 defense. Don't get me wrong. But I'm saying right now, you can start to see these pieces and everyone, and a high tide raises all ships. So you got these 2 guys playing up front like maniacs, Payne and Allen, and we know what they're doing. And we know they can't be left alone. You have to double team at least one of them on every play.
That's
or else
correct.
you're begging, for good luck to happen. The high tide is those 2 guys, and those boats are in the front of the dock. And I'm telling you right now, they cause a lot of volume. And now all of a sudden, our safeties and our corners and our running back and our linebackers, they are starting to play the football that I think we envision. And I know our defense has been getting better, and better, but we were very fast on defense yesterday, and I think we were playing downhill and not afraid. Like all of a sudden, all these reads and mistakes. We're not thinking anymore. We're playing, and it's all with guys that we drafted. I mean, I know we got John Bosley out there running around and a couple dudes.
He did just fine.
He was fine.
Super smart.
And
Savvy.
I'm so proud of the homeboys that we got, and there's a reason why that locker room went nuts. These guys have all grown up with each other. They know that they've all been brought here to fix the problems that existed before them, the sins of their forefathers that they had nothing to do with. But I tell you right now, someone's been saying some prayers, and hopefully it was at St. Catherine's in Philadelphia, where I've been a few times, because someone was in there today saying a few.
Jamin Davis looks the part. He's officially a first-round
He has been balling.
linebacker. He is a huge part of our defensive resurgence, and I think it's the eye test. He's playing so much better. He looks bigger on the field. He looks faster.
He certainly looks faster.
And
that's confidence.
It's
that's
just total
reps.
confidence. And when he gets his hands on guys, they go to the ground.
I know, he's physical. Dude, he's all of it. He's all of what we thought. And, if we're patient, and I think some of us have been, we're getting that now to reap the benefits of a great pick. And we just hope he keeps making these strides, especially without his big bro, Cole Holcomb, on the field, which was obvious for the last 3 weeks that he's been missed. But you know what? You step up, you make plays, and when you play downhill, when you play the way our defense played, I mean, I get the time of possession. I get they only ran X amount of plays. We had 80-some, I think. We had 20-some.
81 to 47.
Yeah. So 47 plays, but I don't give a damn. We're playing damn good football. We're playing such better defense than we've played. Even 2 years ago, we had a hell of a defense. We didn't have guys like this. We weren't this fast. I don't think they realized how good our young front seven was back then, but everyone does now. And we can get pressure with 4. You can win a lot of football games.
And the other lesson I think that every football fan and any football player could take from last night's game is that it wasn't a fluke, right? This is the way we've been playing. We took the L against the Minnesota Vikings, and we shouldn't have, but we did. But for the last 5 weeks, this is how we've been playing. And we took it to Philadelphia in the manner in which we've been taking it to teams. And what is interesting is that a team that hasn't faced a ton of adversity, which isn't to say Philadelphia hasn't been in any close games, because they have, but they've, generally speaking, been the hitter as opposed to the hittee on a weekly basis. They struggled for an answer. Now, the way the game started, I mean, it was shades of badness, with the strip sack and the quick 7-0, and but we never strayed from what it was we were going to do, and it was immediately successful in terms of keep 7-0, 7-7, 14-7, 14-14. Once Philadelphia realized they were in an actual dogfight with an actual team that was not the rollover Redskins or football team that they faced over the last few years, you saw it, you could see it, you could hear it in the stands, you could hear the fans, you could see it in the eyes of the coaches. They did not know what to do because they hadn't been in that situation yet. Now, this might make them better. This might be a good thing for them.
Blah, blah,
so
blah.
be it. Who cares? Last night, they didn't know what to do about us. They couldn't stop us, and we could stop them, and they did not know what to do. And to be in Week 10 and to be in that situation against the best team in the league, I'm telling you, that is not a happy to be here scenario for us. That is we're in the thick of it situation.
We brought the fight. Our style of ball is how you win in the playoffs. I'm not saying that we are a playoff team. I am saying that this is how you win football games when it gets freezing cold outside. You have got to run, stop the run, keep the other team's weapons off the field, and play all 3 facets of the game, which we did. More poetic justice, maybe the most. Yes, our offense played up to their capabilities. Yes, our defense played some badass football out there. Our special teams. You're telling me we bring a guy named Sly to Philly and come out of there 14 points for Sly?
A 58
189 yards worth of field goal, 4 for 4, a 58, a 55, a 44, and a 32? Yo,
The hold
come
the
on.
holds by Tressway for the long ones.
I mean, Sly Stallone, Joey Sly Stallone goes in there and
Joey
just
Sly Stallone.
kicks the shit out of the Eagles, legitimately. Oh my god,
I mean,
that dude was aces. He was money.
twice Tressway saved our bacon on the hold. Twice.
And Tressway took a pot shot that didn't help us in the end.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, everyone was talking about the last play, like Brandon Graham running into Taylor Heineke after giving him up. First of all, Brandon Graham was the first person
it was
I heard
obvious.
last night say it was a penalty. It's not.
It's what it is.
We shouldn't give the referees a chance to call that call. It was a penalty. But go back to the beginning of the game when some idiot runs into the punter, whether it was running into the kicker or roughing, it would have been a first down for us. Granted, they got a strip sack on the next ensuing set of plays, but Philadelphia was not there. Was not ready for us throughout the entire game, and I love the camera on Sirianni and the Philadelphia sidelines because it was evident that they were shocked. They were shocked. I mean, there's no other way to say it. They were shocked.
well, I got to be honest with you. I was shocked with Nick Sirianni when he wore a Mike Quick throwback jersey to the pre-week presser and went out there and said, "Yeah, he used to dominate Darryl Green, and I'm taking Mike Quick over Art Monk any day." I was like, bro, first of all, check the stats. It's not close. It's not even close.
Not even
Art
close.
Monk's a Hall of Famer. Just have it. Mike Quick was a very good player. His career was short and blah, blah, blah. We're talking about
I mean,
Art
at least
Monk
go Harold
here.
Carmichael.
Show some respect.
Over there, Mike
Terry
Quick.
McLaurin was asked the same question post-game, and he burst out laughing. It
yeah.
was hysterical.
Yeah.
So, F you, Sirianni. He kind of embodies Philadelphia. He starts throwing shit. He looks like a dark, angry bastard. He looks like he'd just give you a freaking nut punch and turn the corner for no reason while he was smoking a cigarette out there by the Metro. I don't give a crap about them, but watching him throwing his headset on the sidelines and getting back, like, you're losing and you're not handling it very well. You're handling it very Philly. And I thought that was tremendous. I love the fact that we took them out of their game. We controlled the pace. We dictated the evening, and they were gracious hosts. Very nice of them.
They were gracious hosts. I love when Philly gets a chance. I love when Philadelphia fans get a chance to watch our team win. So I very much appreciate that. Now let me let's transition to the story of the week. It started right away, and I thought Taylor Heineke did a great job when he was asked the question by Lisa Salters after the game. Hey, listen, you know the whole Terry McLaurin, and he plays every game like it's going to be his last game. He said that. He was like, I play every game like it's going to be my last game. Lisa Salters said, this might actually be your last game. And what do you think about that?
I was like, wait a minute.
I didn't like the question, but
Seriously, lady?
he was like, hey, listen, if
He
it's
just
me,
wanted
great.
a trash can full of Busch Light.
You got a trash can full of Busch Light. And, he said, if it's Carson, I'll be supporting Carson. And he said all the right things.
He did.
But here's let's talk about this for a second. There's two things which may or may not be deciding factors. The first is the draft pick consideration. When you're a playoff contender, you got to slide that aside just a little bit. And you got to plot your path to the playoffs. If you're thinking about the draft pick consideration at 70%, he's got to be out another game and a half for that. That can't be a deciding factor in this decision. It just can't be. If we're a 2-18, oh yeah, it's a deciding factor. But when you're in the thick of it and you got a playoff possibilities and potential, it's not the deciding factor. So let's just move that aside and let's just not make that a deciding factor. The other thing is the other thing that is a deciding factor, or at least more important, I think, why you have to consider Carson Wentz, or at least have the thought, and this is Ron Rivera's decision, and I don't envy it. There's a reason why, you have a guy who's 6'4", 6'5", with a rocket arm. Now, that's in a vacuum. That's a vacuum wrapped guy, prototype franchise quarterback, situation in Carson Wentz. I will throw my 1.5 cents behind Taylor Heineke continuing on as a starter. But Kev, where are you at? If Carson Wentz is 100% healthy, what's the decision come down to?
I think it's very simple.
Okay.
First of all, everyone around town, everyone I've spoken to all weekend or week before this, and even after this, seem to think that there's like it has to be concrete for eternity, one way or the other, and that's just not the case. Taylor Heineke is our starting quarterback against the Houston Texans. Make no mistake about it. I have no trepidation. It is with 100% confidence. I feel
easy.
it's
It's
an easy non blah blah. And I get everyone has to make something of something. That doesn't mean that Carson Wentz is not going to play a snap for us. And I don't want anyone getting mad here and blah, blah. Taylor Heineke has certainly, definitely earned the right to start against the Houston Texans.
Correct.
But it would be wrong for me to say that Taylor Heineke has earned the right to be the starter for the next 7 weeks no matter what.
That's right.
So I'm just being fair with it. I love how Carson Wentz has handled himself. I love how Taylor has handled himself. These are two guys that are they're above it all as far as the ego and all that crap.
And
going
contract
down
years,
with
both
this.
of them.
And guess what? What's going to happen is going to happen. If Taylor Heineke comes out there against Houston, if there's 3 first-half interceptions, people might have a different outlook, and I don't want that to happen. But what I'm just saying is this NFL, so much shit's going to happen, whether it be injury, interception, blah 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 blah. We got to have Carson Wentz healthy and ready to go. That's a big plus for us. No matter that we need that.
That was when we were talking before the season started about Carson Wentz being the starter going into the season, which made perfect sense because of all the things that you want in a starting quarterback going into a season. There was never a doubt in any of our minds that Taylor Heineke was going to get on the field at some point because, A, that's how the league works.
Yes.
Almost every backup is going to get onto the field. And sometimes your third, fourth, and fifth stringers get onto the field because you sit back there in the current NFL, you're going to get beat up. So by the same token, we're probably going to need Carson Wentz to play quarterback for us again this season just because of the way the NFL works. Taylor Heineke, he's tough as shit, and he's going to continue to do what he does.
I want him to start all 7 games.
Yeah, of course. I do too.
I'm just being realistic and saying
we might need Carson Wentz.
we're going to need Carson Wentz.
Yes.
Damn, man, that Giants D is no joke. Houston's been playing a lot better defense. I mean, listen, Atlanta's been mustering a few things, and this is the NFL. Stuff happens, man. So we just can't take a big fat dump on Carson Wentz, but I believe in Taylor Heineke. I adore watching Taylor Heineke play the position.
Yep.
If you could put his moxie, his guile, the way he leads, and his swagger into Carson Wentz's frame and arm strength, it'd be great. But you know what? People have been saying that about multiple people for years. I mean, you and Brigitte Nielsen. I've always said, if you could just combine those two.
I bring the body, obviously, and she brings the brains.
And the hair.
And the hair.
She has a gorgeous flat top.
Well,
I'm losing as far as flat tops go.
Yeah, as far as flat tops go.
I mean, when was the last time you had a flat top?
Well, I have the same haircut, but just not in a different spot.
Somebody combine those two people into something at some point with the magic of the internet, and I would be thrilled.
Ken Harris, the reason why you didn't know that is because he doesn't. It's ludicrous. Ken Harris points out Mike Quick does not have.
Yeah, that was just an embarrassing conversation to have. Terry McLaurin's reaction was the best. He burst out laughing instantly instead of the reporter.
That's a clown question, bro.
Obviously, you have the inside information. It's Art Monk.
It's Art Monk.
Next question.
Who was the picture for our show last week? What's up, John Toohey? Good to see you this evening, sir.
No one wants to switch. We're just talking about how this league works. And listen, Heineke's out there fighting for his life every second. And if he's got to come out, just say he gets a little shoulder incident. He's got to go into the tent. Like, I'm not sure if right now down the stretch in an NFC East game is the time to find out about Sam Howell.
No.
I'm just saying. And I love the fact that he's on the team. This isn't an indictment of him in any way. I haven't seen him throw the ball.
And he's been getting reps in practice now.
And I haven't seen him throw it besides on like those little highlights since the preseason. I love that he's on our team, and I can't wait to see what he's got in the future. But let's just not all think the sky's falling if we got to put Carson in there. And never once would I say bench Taylor or blah 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 unless he has a bad day, whatever. I'm just saying Taylor hasn't earned the right. It's not like he's out here slinging 5 at a time and blah. It's what he brings to the team as a teammate more so than with his right arm.
And so every once in a while, I like to take 100,000 feet back, and
Steven St. John knows them Old Bay wings.
He does.
Delicious. Just make sure Sam D'Souza doesn't deliver them.
Don't let Sam near the wings. Everyone knows this. So. We're 5-5 and we're in the playoff mix. We got work to do. but the other side of the coin that everyone wants to talk about, not the non-Washington fans. They're like, oh, you're just ruining your draft pick now. First of all, we've never advocated for draft pick. We don't care about that crap anyways.
We're one of the few fans that don't care about the winning the offseason. Right?
No.
That happens when you have a good foundation and
right.
good leadership. Not
And
for us to decide.
I want to make the argument, the opposite argument. I love that fact that we're playing our way out of a quarterback pick in this upcoming draft. I love that. I love that for a couple of very easy reasons. One, Heineke's re-signable, and we have a rookie who may have something. Those are things you have that those aren't answers, long-term answers necessarily. And then there's the opportunity potentially to bring someone. I love the fact that we're playing our way out of being one of the teams that's going to take one of these kids coming out in the top 10 because first of all, we have other holes. And time and time again, year in and year out, you can find a plug-and-play stud starter at a position of need in the middle of the first round, and it will work out for you almost without fail. Whether that's an offensive lineman, whether that's a linebacker or a corner or a wide receiver, whatever it is, you're going to be just fine. And that's how you build that. That's how people like Taylor Heineke can be successful at all, is if you've been able to add a Jahan Dotson on the outside, if you've been able to add a Sam Cosby, who had a great game at the guard spot, or Brian Robinson in the third round, or for that matter, the young players that we have on the defense. So I am not with you if you're worried that we're playing our way out of a top pick that's going to get us out of the Bryce Young sweepstakes or any of that crap. Man, I think that's the best thing that could happen to us. I honestly do. I'm happy to kick that can down the road if that's what it is, if that's what we're going to call it. But at the end of the day, we are building one heck. Ooh, hey, they found their way back to our comment section. Beautiful girls here. I'm gonna I do the report. We're gonna say that's that, and we're gonna get rid of these guys. But guys, don't click on the sex find biz. Whatever you do,
Timothy Rick, I hope you're quick.
don't report
hope
on
you were
them.
Quick with the right.
It's a thing. So don't click on those.
For those of you who have been searching for beautiful girls all night, this is not the pod at the end of the rainbow.
There's no beautiful girls here.
This is actually got a Philadelphia home address. It's
in fact, I'm sorry to report there are no beautiful girls here at all, anywhere to be found on the comment border here. And maybe I'm mistaken, but they're not here. So I wanted to make that comment because it's been it's a thing. You get to the middle of the season. When and over the last 5, 6, 7 years, 5-5 is about as good as we've been in a year when we've been getting better. We've started out super slow and we've gone on runs at the end of the season, but we have talked about draft picks in week 10 and week 11, over the last 10 years. It's been a thing. So I am not a person who wants to entertain the idea of ever rooting for draft pick selection on a week by week basis, and exactly the opposite. I love that we're playing our way out of the top of the first round. I love it because guess what? We're going to get an awesome player in the first round, and they're going to be at a position of need, and they're going to step in and make us better. And whoever's playing quarterback for us next year will benefit from that. So let's move on from that because that as a thing is a terrible thing. So we're both saying Taylor Heineke over Carson Wentz.
I don't think it's really even.
I don't think it is either, and I think Ron Rivera is doing the right thing by saying, "I'm thinking about it." I'm putting,
Well, when you say we want you here, and everyone's been classy, you want to put your best foot forward, but this is not.
And you know what? Carson Wentz isn't a dummy. He looks around. First of all, he's getting his $30 million, $28 million, no matter what. Right. But secondly, Carson Wentz played football his whole life. He's been in a million locker rooms. He gets it. Trust me. He's not in any way, shape, or form the kind of guy who's going to be like, hey, I should be the quarterback.
And he might have been, but he no longer is.
No longer.
He hasn't shown any of that.
That's right.
He also understands that stop 3, it's not time to be the spoiled brat. Maybe you have to put that ego in check. and do what's best for the team, which so far he's done. I'm not trying to act like he hasn't. And so is Taylor Heineke, which, you know what? That's a great thing. When you have two guys on the same page at that position, and you're fighting for a playoff spot and respectability in the toughest conference in the last freaking 53 years, 52 years, 53 years.
Yeah, modern era.
So, hey, man, that's what it is. And I don't think there's anyone out there pining for it to be Carson Wentz. This is how it goes. When a starting quarterback of his stature comes back, there has to be some, but there's no controversy.
No, and because I love this, and we can cut this off at any moment, and I'll give you the ability to pull the string on it. But I think that what we're proving on offense with the way that we're running it now, Scott Turner isn't a forever offensive coordinator, but what I think, if you do plug in a first-round offensive lineman, for example, or another wide receiver or whatever, I think what we're doing is we're proving that you put good players around a quarterback, and you empower that guy to learn and understand and lead, and you can be successful. Yeah. I mean, Taylor Heineke is a starter in this league. We've said it a million times. He is a starter in this league. He is a top 32 guy.
He hasn't proven that at this point.
I mean,
and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
20 through 32, teams that need a guy. I'm not saying you're going to go out there and throw a bundle at him. I'm saying he's a better player. How he goes through his progression and the feel of this specific offense is way more comfortable than any other backup in their offense. He doesn't have that big rifle cannon, but it's enough to get by, and it's enough to be a starter and win football games. Because the Kingslayer has taken down many. This dude, Jalen Hurts, supposed to be the MVP, 8-0 team. He's got Tom Brady pelt. He's got a Aaron Rodgers pelt this year. I mean, he has taken some dudes down, and he has battled with Tom Brady in the playoffs down to the wire, to the point where the damn other team's defense came over to congratulate him post-game.
Yes.
Like, shit like that. You have to keep an eye on that. When the best middle linebacker, what's the dude's name in Tampa? God, I love him.
White?
Yes.
Devon White?
Yeah, Devon White. He came over, and he talked to Heineke on the field and blah, blah, and after they were asking him, he said, I had to tell him, you can play on my team anytime, man.
Yep.
We would love to play with a dude like you. When Terry McLaurin's calling him gritty with that toughness, you know what I'm saying? Like, so why stop that? Now, if it gets to the point where he runs into a buzzsaw or he has a bad day or two or an injury or blah, blah, it's really nice to have a guy like Carson Wentz that you can bring in. That's
it sure is. And just nothing but options. Nothing but options for this offense on a going forward basis. Manner of speaking, the double tight end sets. My comment about the double tight end sets, in fact, in some cases the triple tight end sets or the jumbo packages, is the beauty of there was no mystery about what
there was no
doing.
Tight ends in previous weeks.
Yes,
we had no tight ends to run any of these packages.
There was no guys with 8. The first number 8, the second. I mean, there was no guys in the 80s. But
we had last year's quarterback from the University of Ohio.
That's correct.
It's hard to have him get out there and lead at the point of attack.
Yep. And then when we had him out there last night, the awesomeness of it reminded me of the Hogs and reminded me of the old school, where not because our offensive line is the Hogs, but because you knew exactly what we were going to do. The whole stadium knew what we were going to do. The entire defense knew what we were going to do. Everyone watching at home knew exactly what we were going to do 49 times last night for the most part, and we did it anyways, and it worked. That's the way you dominate.
On 45 of them, there was motion at the snap. There was misdirection, and there was... So obviously, for the first time all year, but I do believe we're healthy enough to run. Mm-hmm. But obviously, we saw a little something. It's not like we just developed this wrinkle, because we just invented the blueprint. And this is what happens in this league. When teams go undefeated, everyone's watching film. There's a lot of smart coaches out there, and everyone knows each other. It's an incestuous group, this NFL community. So everyone's talking this way and that, and everyone understands if you can maintain possession... No one wrote down 40-plus minutes to 20. If you maintain possession, keep those dudes off the field. That RPO game that Jalen Hurts is running, it's been sick. But you have to develop the run game, and they couldn't do that against us in the first week either.
Yep.
I think he threw for 360 yards on us, but that was dudes. Devontae Smith was running around buck naked all over the place, and it was almost embarrassing. We weren't who we are now then by any stretch. We've come a long way defensively, and it was impressive to watch. Benjamin St. Juste, let's keep that guy around for a while.
So let's take a couple minutes and talk about the game we got coming up. Houston. This is the tough one. This is a real tough one because it's not like we're in totally uncharted territories. Because we're 5-5. It's not like we're 8-2. But we're coming off a huge win. We're coming off a prime time Monday Night Football division clash, best team in the league, and it's a short week, and you're going up against almost the exact opposite. Almost the exact opposite. So it's tough for most teams. So you got to refocus quick and not get bit in the ass by the Houston Texans.
Anyone that plays football on this team that thinks anything different is nuts. There's no chance they're thinking that. And maybe just, being a human being is one thing, but we were minus 11 going into 8-0 Philadelphia, the greatest start in the history of the Philadelphia Eagles. And we won. That's a way bigger upset than Houston beating us. Like, let's be honest here. Us going down there as 3-point favorites with 40-point over-under it's disrespectful.
Yep.
We still are being viewed nationally and Vegasly as a team that could show up, and if the game was neutral, it'd be a pick'em. If both teams had to meet in between Houston and DC, they're saying that they flip a coin for this.
I don't understand that.
I mean,
but it's true.
That's supposedly what we're dealing with here. So, if our guys don't get that, then we don't get shit. But after the way we ran the ball 49 times up their ass last week, the number 32 rushing team, yards rushing defense, the worst team in the NFL is the Houston Texans. In fact, they're on pace to be the first team since the New Orleans Saints in 1980 to give up 3,000 rushing yards on the season. And I think 3,200 and some change for the Oilers or something like that. I had it written down. I can't find it. The Bills in 1978, 3,228 would be the all-time record. With an extra game, you're saying the Texans might have a chance. My point is
a chance.
Doesn't mean they can't beat us. It just means this. I think it's a decent matchup for Rob, Antonio Gibson, Curtis Samuel.
And Ken Harris points out their running back is special.
He is.
Dameon Pierce is a special running back.
The problem with Dameon Pierce is that there's not a lot of special around him.
Yep.
And everyone knows he's special. And like 19 carries for 100 yards last week, something like that, right about that. He's that special. He's
the only show in town.
Exactly. And, Davis Mills they're talking about benching him heading into this week, and he got Lovey's nod of approval. He's out there. He's got Brandon Cooks coming into this year.
He's been pouting.
The number one weapon, and he's the one causing an issue now. None of the receivers have more than 400 yards and 2 touchdowns maximum. So it's by committee receiver wise. I think their tight end Jordan Akins had 72 yards receiving last week. He was the big receiver. So my point is this. If Dameon Pierce is the dude, and we got our dudes up there, and Davis Mills beats us, then we've taken it 2 steps backwards.
Yep.
Dameon Pierce is a dude. Dameon Pierce might get that 100 yards against us because they're going to feed him because they have to. They understand what the game plan is. It's very similar to playing
that we had against Philly.
Because they don't have anybody. They don't have anybody else. They got to spread it around on offense, and they play a little bit of defense. And look, man, their highest paid player is Laramie Tunsil. He's their left tackle. He's not a dynamic run blocker, but he might be one of the better pass blockers in the game. And everyone knows that he's the dude. I think he makes like $18 million a year. Then the next highest paid guy is Brandon Cooks, who's not performing that way, and it's half that. They don't have the payroll. They don't have the talent. They're sitting there and they're scrappy, but they're 1-7-1, and they're about to set a rushing record. This
is where I like going on the road. I love. In this spot coming after the big win on the road. Also, we're 3-2 on the road at this point in time in the season. I love staying on the road. I love the idea of going a business trip. Keep it
just left hand up all the way down to Houston.
I know.
Haters can't stand us.
I do hate the left hand up thing, but not because I hate on the band or I hate on the idea.
I'm starting to like it.
It's growing in the sense that I like those guys, but I also
it's super obnoxious, which is why it works to say to someone in Kelly Green wearing a Philadelphia Eagles
left hand up.
I'm going to left hand up Philadelphia forever. It'll eventually will grow to a left finger up, but. You know what? They started that.
They started it.
Yeah, they started it first.
You got a score for me?
I might. I know this. Derrick Henry has rushed for over 200 yards in 4 straight games against these guys. I know he is the creme de la creme, but I'm just saying this. If he's just getting 200 a pop, a clip, in an interdivision rivalry where everyone knows each other well as shit, and that's too much.
It's bad.
Oh man, I'm gonna say it's gonna be 30 to 17. 30. Hold on.
Yeah.
30 to 20. I'm going with a weird number. 30 to 20.
Okay. I keep getting burned when I go over 30. I believe I was the only one that picked the win this week.
You absolutely were. In fact, I went the other way, not because I believed in it, because I wanted to earn it. I said 34-13 beatdown. Charles Woolridge, I know you're not out there this week. You only hop in on Philadelphia Eagles week. But if T would have taken that bet, which he couldn't see because T doesn't have a good angle to see the board. Just so you guys know this on the board, I like to let T know what's going on the board and blah, blah, but he can't see it from his angle. Woolridge would owe us a couple big bottles of something.
Yeah, he would have.
But 30 to 20 is my Texans W score.
I got us scoring 38 points.
40
Sunday.
is the over-under, so you're thinking we're going to take care of.
I do.
We're going to take care of a majority of that.
I'm going to say 38 to 13. 38 to 13. I don't see their offense getting it done at all. I see a couple field goals out of them. We might get a give up a touchdown at some point to Dameon Pierce, but I think I don't even think that's like a bold prediction, because I think this is something's building. I'm going on the premise that something's building. I'm going on the premise that we're getting better, we're getting healthy, and I'm going to also say this: I got another defensive touchdown this week, and I think that's what gets us up and over into that mid to upper 30s. I think it's a defensive touchdown this week. And we'll see. 21-17, 20-17, 31-17 that's kind of what the board is going with. I don't think they can get anything on us in garbage time. I don't think they got any. I think if their garbage players aren't even close to our backup. So, but we'll see. It's going to be a fun, short week ahead of Thanksgiving. We got Atlanta coming here the following week, the Sunday after Thanksgiving, and we have the Giants on the road before the bye. So 3 weeks: Houston, Atlanta, Giants, and the bye.
And then the Giants again, weirdly.
And then Giants again, but before the bye, real opportunity to build ourselves to a winning record.
Absolutely.
Oh, look at Ken Harris.
I have no comment.
I can't comment on that. Just so you know, Ken, I also agree with you. I think that's actually a really good score prediction. And I'm selfishly, I'd like to see more points scored, just because I think it'll be more exciting. But I think that tells the story, the tale of the tape. And T's not here, which is great to even see that. But
I know, but if T was here, he would be saying this. We've got to block Jerry Hughes this week. Homeboy has 8 sacks. That's something that could hurt us because they can run the ball a little bit. Their defense has been coming along lately. If they redskin us Philly style, I'm going to be super pissed because, like Ken Harris also said, Dameon Pierce is a dude. And if he can make something out of nothing on a couple runs, turn them from 2-yard gains to 4-yard gains, and all of a sudden that defense plays a little bit, and then they get some timely sacks or maybe a little, and that's the guy I'm worried about. Jerry Hughes, I mean, they've had 9 games. He's got 8 sacks. That's production, especially from a guy I don't know too much about. But I do know that Jonathan Owens leads them in tackles, and he's everywhere. He leads them in tackles by 25. He is their guy. It's not going to be. We can't block him. I mean, he's going to be making plays all day long. We can only hope to contain and then make moves on him. But Jerry Hughes, we got to block him. We got to block him.
One player on our side that scores a touchdown for sure. Good question from the board, Greg.
The way it's been going, the way the targets have been trending, the way the plan has been unfolding, the amount of targets last week in the leadership, it's a guarantee that Terry McLaurin gets loose because we know what happens when he gets it.
Yep.
So if he gets his 8 touches on 11 targets again, one of those 8, I mean, he's bound.
I'm going to say, assuming he's healthy, and I haven't heard otherwise, I think Gibson is a touchdown waiting to happen in this game. He is such a huge part of what we're up to, and he mixes in. And I think there's going to be touchdowns to go around ultimately.
May I say something real quick?
Please.
What's awesome is that the 18 J Dubs men are speaking Greg Martin, top heavy, have all given their answer within like 3 seconds, and it was 5 different dudes. How many years have we been able to say that as fans of this team? And by the way, there's multiple other dudes that still could be, which is also pretty cool, man. You know, not having our tight ends for a good portion of the year and not having our full arsenal of wideouts, it's pretty cool to see our top 2 tight ends back. That's helping the crap out of our run game.
That's right.
Now we're getting into some different personnel, and we have some different options, and we got to see a ton of it. But this core of receivers, dude, Jan Dotson obviously wasn't himself on Monday. He had 1 catch. It was a big deal. But that guy's he's a problem in the red zone, and he's a special guy anywhere on the field. So I really look forward to seeing him getting back after a week and a little time on Monday and see what he can do out there. The way Heineke's feeling with that trash can of Busch Lights, all them chains and glasses. And
Dude, I love Busch Light, by the way. Just so for the record, I love Busch Light.
Fine.
Always have.
But my downstairs mouth hates it.
I love Busch Light. And thank you for the thumbs up. We got a lot of people out there watching right now who may or may not have already put in their left thumb up. I mean, I'm just saying, left thumb up. Appreciate you guys. Greg Martin made a comment about the Heineke rush. And it's relevant to me because, and I sent this to you like right away on Sunday, and I don't mean to like stay on the Kirk Cousins thing. I don't. I'm over Kirk Cousins, but when he was here, he couldn't run a quarterback sneak to save his life, and I've broken it down the way I know how, which is amateur hour all day. He can't put his back foot. He doesn't put his back foot down and his head down when like Tom Brady does it, and when freaking Taylor Heineke does it, or when any of these guys who do it successfully, Josh Allen, even Patrick Mahomes. It's when Kirk Cousins gets the snap, he curls his shoulder into the back of an offensive lineman, and he'll take whatever that offensive lineman gives him. Now, that's not how you run quarterback sneaks. We couldn't get him done here. And it's uncanny. It's uncanny that it's even a thing. And initially, it seemed like a petty, stupid little thing that didn't make it like, is that a real thing? It's still a real thing. That he can't do it still. No. It's unbelievable. And Taylor Heineke can. He got the rushing touchdown a couple weeks ago. He got a quarterback sneak for a first down last night. It's unbelievable because I think in every level of football, peewee, high school, college, pro, being able for an offensive coordinator to call that play with confidence is. I mean, you were a freaking offensive coordinator. You want to be able to call that play.
Listen,
at some point, once a game.
Dude, my father was old school, and I played.
I know you played. I know you did.
No, but like you knew how to do it when you were like 8 or 9. This is the backyard football thing. Like we all knew how to run a damn quarterback sneak. Like Kirk, you can do it. Just put your ass into it.
He doesn't.
Like,
he doesn't.
No, he's a little light in the ass also, and he's kind of a different cat. Like he's not washing down Bush. You know, like Taylor Heineke.
No,
come on, man, not a chance.
He is not.
Like I love Greg. First of all, Greg Martin just said, "Wash your bush." I laughed out loud, and I had to use it as soon as possible because I know Kirk Cousins ain't washing that bush.
No, he's not.
That's different. Taylor Heineke didn't want to. He didn't even want to deal with anybody. He was just fine with a bush wash bucket.
Just a big old.
That's it. He was just chilling out
in the bush.
And by the way, like. They were on an airplane from Philadelphia. Like, I'm not sure how high. Like, was that like?
It's a short flight.
Yeah, I've never done it. What is it like? 12 minutes.
It's not. I'm sure they like
the
loaded
ride.
all
the
the
ride from here to
bus.
Philly Airport. The ride from where we're sitting is 1 hour and 40 minutes.
So obviously, there's no TSA. There's no bag checks. There's no anything. They just get on the plane.
How do you slug
and fly.
down a dozen bush in 18 minutes?
We can do that.
I guess.
The best thing I used to brush my teeth before my first Busch Light of the night, which was like 7 out of 7 nights, and I just cleansed the palate. I thought that it's a premium taste of Busch Light beer. I'm getting a little deep on you here. I love Busch Light. I love it. I do.
don't know how.
I do, and I'm not a beer
It
guy.
doesn't even taste all that bad.
I love
It's just the aftermath. I mean,
It's a little bit of an aftermath.
But
When when your body is like, okay, at some point your body's like, God damn it, what are you doing? And then like 2 years later, your body's like, all right, I guess this is this is life. I guess we're just gonna we're like pioneering. We're pioneers. We're on a wagon trail out west.
no, we voted 9-1, and butthole, you lose.
You lose.
Sorry,
and
butthole.
guess what?
Sorry,
Take this
butthole.
cheesesteak and this half a pizza, by the way, in the morning, and take that.
And the dining hall's open at 8:30.
Yes. And there's gonna be
Terrible
Lucky
for
Charms
you.
and Apple Jacks all day long. All right, you just get a
They
little
sell
glimpse
buttholes in
into
the
my life.
bookstore at Loyola. That's my question.
I need a spare.
It's weird. I got the last one. Catholic.
Newark to Richmond, 40-minute flight. It was funny to watch, and also they put Taylor Heineke. He was at least in
14.
coach.
I guess 12. Like, it's almost like, why miss the Roy
Did
Rogers?
they parachute out?
Why miss the Roy Rogers?
Like landing takes too much time. They'd be like, just jump out,
Yeah.
into the
Exactly.
Potomac. It's
Exactly.
just like paratroop in.
We used to take the train. I remember, like, within the last few years,
Mm-hmm.
we've trained it. Union Station to Penn Station, I believe.
Yeah, it's a quick one. Get to watch a movie.
Not quicker than 14 minutes. Great.
Ken, I'm a Busch Light over Milwaukee's Beast.
Oh, Milwaukee.
I am. Little Beast, Beast Ice, Beast Light, all of it. But all right, you guys, we will be back in exactly 7 days to tell you all about how the Washington Commanders got a winning record after 11 weeks. That's what we're all about. That's what we're going to do next week. We're going to hopefully be fully staffed at that point in time. But until then, he's Kevin Ricca.
And I hope someone out there had the Commanders on the money line last night. That'd be something. But I will say this: 4-0-1 against the spread in the last 5 weeks. Commanders are 6-2 with the under. Just throwing that out there, guys.
With the under.
For rolling that out there. We are underwhelming, and we are a 4-0-1 against the spread as Commanders in the past 5
Now,
weeks.
as you know, the last Washington game I ever bet on was Patrick Ramsey and Darnell McCants against the Philadelphia Eagles in a terrible game that made me say, I can't do this anymore. But I will say this. I'm a player prop guy. That's where I bet now. And I would be all up on our running game in this game for everything that he said 5 minutes ago. You can hit the rewind button. This team in Houston, it gives it up like government cheese all day, and that is exactly how it's going to go. If you got any prop bets for carries and yards for our running backs, get all up in that. They usually come out around Thursday or Friday. So I don't recommend betting on our game except for those kinds of bets. So appreciate you guys. On behalf of First Amendment Sports and everybody here in the basement studio, we'll see you next Tuesday night. I'm Ken Marangolo. We're still live.
Thanks, guys. Awesome. Haters can't stand. Oh, the Terry yard's over? I'm going to say it's 93.
No, it's got to be an 8 handle and take the over.
8 handle?
Yeah, because the gamblers are going to know
Yeah,
when to run the ball.
I get it. But they know that Terry's been getting them targets.
The target.